Okay, I'm pretty good at poker wording, having researched it the way Molly did. The poker game, not so much. I don't think I have a good poker face, and I think it's okay because Molly never played one hand of poker in her life, so she's never played poker. She's just organized it. So when I was playing this role, I didn't have to go research it by going and losing a bunch of money. Molly was involved from the very beginning. I got to meet her. Aaron introduced us at the Four Seasons in Los Angeles, and we spent a lot of time together, and I'd be on set, and I'd be about ready to go into a scene, and I would send her a text and ask her a question, and she would respond immediately. I mean, we were in constant contact, and I can't even begin to say how helpful that is when you're creating a character based on a person, a living person. And so it was important for me to do what I can to play it as realistically as possible. I love playing a character that's based on a real person because to me it answers a lot of questions that I don't have to answer on my own. Yes, there's the little things like figuring out like the mannerisms, and you have less creativity when thinking of the look of the character even. But what I then do is I take the story of like, okay, the one person, Molly Bloom, and I figure out, well, how can I take her one story, the story of one woman, and make it relatable to all women? And that is the really exciting part for me when playing a real character, because you take this one woman and this micro story and you try to touch everyone with it and have everyone see themselves in that character. And that's the best part about it for me. If you say Molly is feisty, and I agree with you, I don't think Antonina Zabinska is feisty. She's very soft and very fragile and very shy and timid. But of course she has deep courage and strength that she finds in her situation. I think one thing that connects all these characters is that they are women that are trying to navigate an environment where men are making the rules. And I think we're not used to seeing female characters in that way, although it is the reality of what's happening in the world. So I think we do need to acknowledge that a lot of women in society and in many, many industries are navigating worlds where men make the rules. And we need to, I guess, move away from an old-fashioned stereotype of what a woman is and look to the reality of who women are. I think the more characters we see like this, the more we'll get used to it. Even the idea of a female character that doesn't have a boyfriend or a husband, it's very like, what's happening? It's very surprising for people. But we're used to seeing male characters that don't have a wife or a girlfriend. So I think the more we see that in the media, then we just acknowledge that it's natural and normal. So that's why I think I'm trying to play female characters that really challenge society's perception of women. I love working with directors who are writer-directors, because when you're on set, it's constantly evolving and growing and changing, and you don't feel like you're being disrespectful to the writer if something changes or goes into a new direction, if the director is also the writer. Also, Aaron would bring us new pages, he would have new ideas, and so I love that because I find it so collaborative and ever-changing. I love doing the scene on the park bench with Kevin Costner. We were doing the rehearsal for it, and of course, Kevin Costner with Dancing with Wolves, and there's so much that I grew up watching, and the idea that he was going to play my father in this movie was so crazy to me already to begin with. But then to be sitting on the bench and to be rehearsing with him, when we finished the rehearsal, I was so moved, and I went over to Aaron and I said, I probably shouldn't say this because I'm a superstitious person and I don't want to jinx anything, but this is the best scene, the the most well-written scene that I've ever had the pleasure to act on film. Because you're never given a 10-page scene like that where the two actors really go on such a journey. And so for no question, that by far is my favorite scene of this movie. I think a mentor figure is important in every single industry. It is important, especially for an artist, because a mentor is like a teacher. And I went to college. I loved going to school. I love education. I love learning. And to have someone like Al Pacino as my mentor, it really helped me. I mean, the actor I am today, especially the film actor I am today, is a direct correlation to my first film being with Al Pacino as my director, and what he taught me about the camera and how you can convey character. So for me, to be able to have a mentor, for anyone, I would only hope that everyone is given a mentor relationship and friendship that I had with Al Pacino. But what really inspires me about this film is it's an underdog story. Molly goes into this industry that she really knew nothing about in the beginning, and she really dominates it. It's also the story about someone who, no matter what happens to them, no matter how many times they fall down, they get right back up. And that really inspires me, that kind of drive, that kind of persistence. And so I hope people walk away feeling like they can accomplish anything, because Molly really pushed herself to the limit.